What is up, party people? Welcome to another edition of the QSC Play Out Loud DJ discussion. We are all smiles today because of the behind the scenes conversations. So much fun. We're so excited to be here with you today. Real quick, for those of you that I don't know yet, I'm Kristin Wilson, based out of Orlando, Florida with RDJ Rocks. And you can follow me in all the things at Meet Kristin. I've got my two ladies here with me today, Jess and DJ BSelecta. So give us a quick little hello, ladies.
Hello.
What
You go, Jess.
DJ Jess. I'm out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I also travel nationwide, and I'm a solo op DJ here in the area. Weddings, private events, creative events, women-themed events, all the things.
All the things. And I am DJ BSelecta out of Los Angeles, California, born in Canada, travel everywhere, and a new Twitcher. So I'm trying this virtual space right now, but you can catch me at DJ BSelecta for all the things.
I love it. And so for those of you who maybe weren't paying attention, she said Los Angeles. And so the rumor is, so you said you guys are open.
We're getting there. Yeah.
The last one to open? Like, how open is open? Like,
I think we're going all the way up.
Going all in?
All the way up.
Going all in, baby.
I think it's about to go down. I don't know the exact date. I feel like it's June 15th or 16th, and it's like everything's coming off. Everybody's, so it's exciting. It's exciting. People definitely want it. They're excited about it. So yeah, there's an energy happening. People are outside. Memorial Day, everybody was at the beach. So
bro, I feel like 2021 is going to be a whole mood. Like,
but I was talking to some of my DJ friends in Canada, because Canada is like locked.
Yeah.
Massive lock. And they are going crazy. Like they really are. And because we're kind of transitioning out of it now. I mean, you in Florida, definitely. Pittsburgh, definitely. Now Cali. I'm trying to tell them, like, you're almost there. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to come back. The money's going to start coming back, because we all know, like, it's been a struggle, So hopefully, fingers crossed for Canada soon too, maybe 3 months.
Cue song. It's all coming back to me now.
That song. I would have sung that on the dance floor at 2 a.m. Can we do that?
Yeah. You know what I love about DJs? I thought it was, we always sing our thoughts. And
yes.
Everything has a song to it. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I feel like I have and I also have a playlist for like every mood and every emotion too. So like I could always pull a lyric from somewhere, right?
100%. Do you ever, this is so random and not important, but do you guys ever, like, do you sit in silence, or do you always, like, if you have people over or you're doing something, are you always playing music? Or do you like quiet?
No, I'm always music unless I have a migraine. Even after a wedding, I'll put on the local station that it's sponsored by iHeartRadio, but they have DJs on there. It's like a national show, and I'll critique myself compared to them. Like, even after I'm done blasting music for 8 hours, I'm like, let's go. So
that's awesome.
Silence makes me nervous.
Yeah.
So I feel like my answer to that is the majority of the time there is always something, but there definitely are intentional times where I'm like, I need everything to stop, and I will just sit in silence. Like, what was it? I think it was yesterday morning's bike ride. I'm like, I can't even deal with any of this music. Mm-hmm. So like, it was just the birds, the bees, the wind, and the trees. That was about it. So
girl, you got it. That's awesome.
What's up, awesome. Team QSC in the building? Hey, Jordan. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Linda. Thank you. She is coming from, how do I pronounce this? Idaho. Well, hello, but Nampa maybe in Idaho. What's up, Linda?
Thanks for joining me, guys. I also have Rowan joining us too.
What up? What up? I love it. Okay, so I don't think I got to update you guys last time we chat, but at the last association meeting we had for the National Association of Catering and Events, so NACE, N-A-C-E. They had a huge like state of the industry panel. And so they had some of like the big corporate heavy hitters all on stage. So you had bigwig from like Visit Orlando. We had one of the main guys from Disney. We had a local DMC. We had a big company who sources a bunch of hospitality employees. And then there was one other Disney, Visit Orlando. The other one will come to me. But what I was really excited to hear, I actually saw on the news last night, but they didn't say these kind of stats, that like in Orlando, come the fall, if you compare 2019 to 2021, our numbers are up 60%. 60%.
Makes sense.
Wow.
So, I mean, take that in for a minute. We're not talking like an increase of 10%, 20%, 30%, 60%. And I'm like, every person coming to Orlando better party, because I got DJs and photo booths for you.
Yes, you do. And they're dope.
Yes.
And they're dope. Wow.
I honestly, like I'm still mind blown just thinking of those numbers. And oh, I remember it. Okay, so the other person who was on the panel, she is the planner and one of the coordinators for the IAPA conference, for like it's the big conference that every single year it's a bunch of attractions and like theme park stuff, and you can buy rentals, you can buy photo booths there and things like that. And she said like sold out. Like if you'd already have a booth, she goes, it's game over. Like theme parks are ready to go. She's like, I mean, I think it was this week Disney just made an announcement that they were about to, it's like, we're literally open. Yeah. And I'm just like, I forgot what open feels like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It gets me so excited because I feel like we have been in this for over a year. And so like, I mean, yeah. I don't know. Where are you guys at? Cause I don't know if you can feel my energy from across the screen, but like, I'm ready. Yeah. I've decided I want all the things.
I'm ready, and I was back last weekend. Was my official weekend back, or
okay.
So not this past, not Memorial Day weekend. I had that off, but the weekend before, I went back full force with insane hours of working, as well as insane add-ons, like everything, live streaming, you know, separate ceremony, cocktail, 6-hour reception, just like very detailed, and it felt great. It felt like I had never missed a beat. You know what I mean? But I'm also worried because there were so many life lessons and there was so much growth that took place for me, you know, this past year. And I don't want to lose sight of that. It's almost like you're on vacation and you like get a break and you're like off your phone and you're not addicted to Facebook and Instagram and you're like reading a book. You're like, I'm going to incorporate this into my life. I'm not going to be as, you know, social media addicted, which is what I do. And then I get back home and I'm like, what? You know, like I just don't want to forget what I learned from this past year of everything and just get back into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Totally.
That's what I'm worried about.
I think it's valid. That's a valid concern, probably for everybody, because it's hard when you're getting all these gig requests and you're getting really, really busy. You haven't worked in a while, you know, money's helpful, you know, and then you want to jump back in. I hate saying no, but I agree, Jess. It's like, oh, but don't forget, you know, but I'm really happy because like Kristin, we talked about it not too long ago and you were like, no, I am keeping my work-life balance, which I think is dope, especially in your position with, I mean, I'm sure you are inundated now with, I don't know. Maybe you need your like QSC sisters to keep you like, don't forget about your bike rides.
I think you guys are going to 100% have to. Like so one of the habits I always do at the end of every month is like, I kind of in my head and like on all these spreadsheets I have is like, I close out the month. So like I look and I'm like, okay, how many leads came in, you know, how many contracts, I make sure that, you know, whatever those contracts are. And I see my girl, Casey in here. What's up, Casey? She helps me with this too. And we've got family in the building. Chris, hi from St. Louis. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, so we kind of wrap up the month and like, I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, like maybe Jenny's not wild. Like maybe she actually was slammed with phone calls in May. And then I look at the numbers and I'm like, oh, okay, it's really, really busy, like really busy. And so, you know, I think I think the hardest part moving forward is that we've created all these habits. We've created this lifestyle and pieces of a lifestyle that we really, really love. And we don't want that lifestyle to change. So now we have to figure out how are we going to have that willpower in addition to like being able to pump the brakes so that we can figure out whatever the new balance looks like.
Yeah,
exactly. There's so much transition. And I want to know, anybody watching in the comments, is there a way that your life changed for the better in the past year, or so since everything changed? And now that we're opening back up, do you plan to keep that change? So drop it in the comments. Dawson High's with us too. What's up, Dawson?
Yep.
Bro,
And
I got
St.
comments for
Martin.
days on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally the first thing that popped in my head is relationships. There's no way I would have been as close with you guys had the world not shut down. And that is
100.
the worst thing ever to say because like, why couldn't we have just done this before? Do you know what I mean? Like,
we're just
I don't know.
Too busy and
We're
always
busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's honestly bullcrap. That's such a
I agree.
excuse.
Because if something's important to you, you should make time for it no matter what it is. That's how I feel too when everyone says you're just like in your own routine and you just like don't want to break it. I don't know. It's like a wake-up call.
And then maybe and we all know relationships are important, but like maybe it was just like a reset and a realignment and like a freaking reality check and a smack in the face of like, okay, let me show you what really is important, guys. Because it's not all this other stuff, because guess what? In a matter of 60 days, the world shut down and half that crap didn't matter.
Yeah, totally. And I also think like because of the nature of what we went through, this virtual experience has blown completely up. So like in the past, I would never think to go on a virtual talk and just link up with people virtually. So I'm only surrounding myself with the people I can see physically, which is great. But my whole world changed when the virtual world opened up and I was able to connect with people like you. Like it really was a positive shift. So for sure.
It makes, and I see Casey just posted something too.
Read that out loud because I got stories. Read that out loud and then maybe I'll add my story to this.
Okay. Working from home for sure. It just wasn't possible till the pandemic forced it. And even though I'm not with my team every day, it feels like we're closer than we've ever been or have. My work-life balance improved tenfold because my commute dropped from 45 minutes each way to 30 seconds. Yes, girl. And now I have the option to keep working till my spouse comes home and I'm getting more done in a more productive way. Hell yeah, Casey.
I got goosebumps.
And the thing is that a lot of people are saying that, but being the boss on the other side, her and I literally sat down and had the conversation. And she asked me, can I work from home in February before the world shut down? And in my head, in a blink of an eye, there was a twister of a storm of all the reasons why that's literally not possible. Like, I literally have phone systems in 8 different offices. I can't pick them up and send them home with you. You know what I mean? There's one excuse. Another excuse, you don't have access to the server because we weren't digital. And so there was all these huge logistical things that stopped us. And when the train, I always talk about this, but like when the train is going so fast, you can't even stop to readjust. And so what's up, Nate? Thanks for joining us.
What up?
And so I think, with the world turning so quickly, with everything shutting down, it kind of just, the earth paused and gave us all a minute to breathe. And then it literally forced us to make changes. And hopefully it was all the good stuff that we needed to do anyways.
Exactly.
I think so. I agree with you, Kristin. I really, really think so. I really think it's like we got put on a timeout.
Yep.
And hopefully you got what you needed to get from that timeout because it was good stuff.
Like nobody puts baby in the corner, but we all went in the corner and now it's time to come out.
Yeah. We got a little lesson. And it's like, okay, now go back.
Yeah.
But don't forget the lesson. And I think the lesson is we can find ways not to waste our time because it's precious. And work-life balance is a thing and it matters. And burnout is a thing, and that also matters. I mean, gosh, are you guys being more selective with the gigs you choose to do? I'm certainly being more selective with the gigs I choose to do.
Yes, 100%.
No diss, but it's like
1,000,000%. And it's not just the gigs I decide to do; it's who I'm doing them with and for. Also, shout out to JW. Thanks for joining us today, dude. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. and I think it's that whole adage, and I forget I think Rachel Sheeran said it at one point. She said, you know, you have to not only love what you do, but love who you do it for and who you do it with. And so like, I'm going to hold on to that for as long as I can and try not to get caught up in all the excitement. Cause I think, you know, for a long time things were really hard, and now it's just so many blessings. There's so many blessings that came from all the stuff that like you thought mattered and it really didn't. So I don't know.
That's so awesome.
What was I going to say now? I feel like I was taking a walk the other day, right? Because that's like something I do now is I take walks in the evening by myself. And by the way, if you run or take walks and you listen to the Pink Floyd album, The Wall, it's amazing. It like builds, like walking through the neighborhood, like this is my world. But what I was thinking about is I was texting with somebody too, that's, you know, they're from Tennessee. And it dawned on me, like, I am not just Jessica from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, I'm not in my bubble. I am truly like a nationwide, I'm not going to say worldwide, because right now I'm a nationwide human being. And I believe that the world shutting down and moving everything virtually, thus kind of opening the door for us to connect with everybody throughout the nation, has really just opened up your eyes and broke you out of your bubble. You know, it's like, you can get so stuck in it, man. I can be in Pittsburgh working out back in my garden and cleaning up and things, and, you know, kind of just focus on what's going on with me, or maybe what's going on with my neighbor or my friend that lives the city over. But if you stop and think about everything that's going on, not only in your city or the city next door, but the entire nation, it's insane. You know, just part of a bigger place than where you're just at. It's a gift to have that perspective. So I'm so thankful to be connected nationwide to you girls and to other DJs, and just to have true, authentic relationships with each other. We can't.
So good.
For sure.
So good.
You know?
Yeah.
Big Ern just got on the just joined us. What's up, Ern?
Ernie.
What's up, Ern?
Okay, so are we ready to get nerdy for a minute?
Yeah.
Can we please get nerdy? Because this has literally been on my mind for, I don't know, but it's all I've been talking about for the last like 24 hours, and it's our setups. So, you know, I don't know if there's a new Kristin. So for the sake of this conversation, let's say there was an old Kristin, right? Old Kristin said, it doesn't matter to me what my setup looks like. I'm going to slay, right? Because my mixing and my personality, the way I program, you know, Dawson's like, oh, here we go. We've already had these conversations, and I told him to please chime in. But like, I mean, how much of that matters? Because like, I'm not going to lie. I touched turntables, and the way it felt was a whole nother planet from like my SX or like a DDJ or like whatever. So now I'm like, shoot, like, do I need that? And then the second question to that is like, if I'm going to buy that beautiful setup, does it need to be displayed and not hidden behind a facade?
Exactly.
Okay. So anyway, that's a buttload of questions, and I will ask them, but like, what are your thoughts?
I love this. I love it. Go ahead, Jess.
I just, in regards to the facade, I actually stopped using my facade 2 years ago because, you know, one of my value selling points is my skills and what I do, and that it's entertaining when I do it. You know, like, it's not about me. I'm not like, everybody look at me, I'm DJ Jess, you know, no. I am doing my thing. And the facade, you can't see me doing my thing, man. It's just like, oh, she's like making these weird faces and like bopping her head, you know, but what is she doing? So I do believe that the facade, while it looks clean, if one of your value points is your sick mixing skills and you want to showcase that, then you should drop the facade.
Okay. So you said if. So your asterisk is if you are a performer and you have sick mixing skills.
Yeah, like if that's one of your selling points, yes. But if you're just programming and pressing play, I don't think a facade is something that, you know, that takes away from that. It looks great. It looks pretty, but I would just rather show my decks.
I think
that's what she said.
Yeah, I think, oh, she didn't like that one.
Sorry.
I think it depends. 2 claps. I think it depends on the gig. I think it depends on the gig. Do I think you have to have turntables? I don't. That's my personal opinion. Some people DJ on turntables, some people DJ on a controller. At this point, you know, there's some nostalgia with the turntables and they're beautiful, but you're right, it is different. And if it's not your jam, I've seen some people kill it on controllers and I don't look at them differently because it's a controller and not a turntable. I do agree with Jess that in certain moments, like when I was DJing this lounge in Laguna Beach, it was about that. You know what I mean? It was about the music, but it was also about a show, right? I even got hit up for, and actually chat, you guys can chime in on this thought, because I have my laptop sent in the middle. So it like covered my face. So people could see my turntables and what I was doing. And I felt like in that setting, it was important. They were watching. They wanted to see it happen, right? But they couldn't see my face. And I was getting comments from people like, you need to move the laptop so that you can even, because it's blocking that bridge, that gap. But on the other hand, there's been corporate gigs that I've done where people aren't watching you, but the setup needs to be beautiful. And that's when I look at your facades and your speaker setup and it is gorgeous. And do I think it matters in that thing? Yes, I do. I think that that look matters in certain scenarios, and the performance bridge, like take away all the things and show the things, matters in other scenarios. So I actually think it depends on the event and what you're doing, honestly, because if you show up to a corporate gig, okay, or let's say a beautiful wedding where everything is perfect and beautiful and grandeur, and I've had to do this because I didn't have a facade, and I'm sitting there with my table with the tablecloth, sure, and my turntables out, sure, they didn't care about that, so I kind of looked like a rinky dink, right? When grandeur was more of what they were looking for, and it was less about a performance turntablist routine. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's really interesting. And I feel like we've always kind of looked at like, you know, what events are we doing? And then let's make sure that we fit or like blend in with those, which is why like we've always had the facades, because it really hasn't been about that. But I'm wondering, you know, at least for us as we're coming out of this, and like you guys have been practicing my butt off. And so like I can't even get behind my mixer anymore without like, I mean, I'm like, Jenny, get out of my way. Like, you know, like I'm going at it, like, you know, and I'm excited and I want to get in and I want to play and I want to have fun. And so I'm wondering if, you know, am I missing the boat on maybe a potential referral or like something else? So let me read some of the comments on here. So Chris says Sexy Boots 2021. I mean, I'm all in. Nate,
I'll buy it.
What'd you say?
I'll buy the Sexy Booth.
Yeah. Nate is like DJ furniture, which I want to talk about that too, because that's the other thing is logistics, especially when you're female. Like, you know, as I'm looking at some of these booth setups, some of them are automatically out of the question because of my height. And then some of them are out of the question because I'm a little bit more petite, which I can get over those things because I can hire people to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I think there's pieces of that too, you know, where it's like, okay, we have to think about logistics. We have to think about what type of events are we doing them for? And like, why are we doing it? Because like, I got a quote in my inbox and I'm ready to pull the trigger. But then the question is, where am I putting this stuff? Because if I get a set of Rain 12s and like, you know, an S11, do you put baby behind the corner? Like, do you put baby behind a facade? And why am I feeling that way?
If I bring my turntables, I'm usually not behind a facade. If I'm bringing turntables, then we're on a table. If I'm at a gig where I feel like it's more about looking pretty in the whole setup and just being like the complement to it and not the show, I'm bringing my controller. So if you're busting out 12s and a mixer and you're rocking that, yeah, I would not put baby in a corner.
I don't want to.
I would show the world. Yeah, I would show the world what you're doing on them suckers for sure.
Yeah.
Jess?
Well, I've always thought, right, that the equipment matters, what it looks like matters, right? So I thought that I got in my own head about it, thinking that I needed to be here when I was just starting out here. So I traveled through my career at the beginning with that thought. And then I began to either listen to people say or see the conversations online about equipment doesn't matter. It's all about what you bring to the table. So the part of me that was financially scared to make that investment said, you know what, they're right. It's about what I bring to the table. And I was kind of holding on to that when I think deep down, I knew that I really wanted to make the setup as beautiful as my performances. But I told it to shut up, because I was like kind of just worried, especially whenever, income was drastically reduced last year. And there's no way I could have made an investment. Well, there's always a way, right? But anyways, then Kristin, I went to visit her in her hotel room when we were at Midwest DJs, and she's on the floor in front of the mirror, ironing her hair, and ironing her hair. And I'm talking about things.
And then ironing her hair again.
That was the extensions that I was ironing too. I love them, by the way. So, we're talking about it. I can't remember the exact verbatim of what we said, but she goes, no, Jess, it does matter. And that's when I realized, like, yes, I'm listening to her because I love her and she's one of my closest friends, but also my gut. It's been telling me that it does matter. And the reason for me it matters is because of the ideal client, my target client bio that I have established that tells me what I work for. And I named her Rachel. The one of them is Rachel. Then there's like a Lindsay or something. But Rachel and Lindsay, they care about what it looks like. And they want to see what I can do every now and then while they're dancing. And they want that vibe. So because of me honing in on my ideal client, I know it's important to them. I know that they want to see what I'm doing. And as far as 12s go, I'll work that in. My gut's also been telling me that as DJs, we should be able to use all of the tools at our disposal if we want to be considered one of the best. And I want to be one of the best. So I think that I should be able to use any tool that comes my way. And I think that's important bringing those in. But I am looking into, making an equipment investment with different things I'll be getting. I won't go into details, but I do have a table that's being custom made for me right now that I'm going to roll out soon. And I can't wait to get that shit. I feel like it's going to elevate the experience, man. You know what I mean?
A table or like a booth?
A table, DJ furniture. So
yeah, like the consoles, there's a dude on Instagram that has these beautiful wooden consoles and everything fits in there. Modern DJ consoles, I think is what
like
it is.
The Fun table and the Max table. There's a bunch of stuff out there. I had an idea in my head of what I truly wanted, but I'm going to wait on that to get that designed because that's going to be a large investment. But I think that it elevates the experience, man, if that's your target client, if they care about it. Like you said, B, it's all about the gig, you know what I mean?
Kind of.
Those are the gigs that I want, that I'm going to say yes to.
Right. So are you
I think
then that you need turntables? Is that what you're talking about with equipment? Like, do you need to have turntables or Rain 12s?
DJ Jess does, yes.
Okay.
I need them because I'm all about that. And I feel like I'm not at this level because I don't know how to play on them. I've always felt that way. I think it's necessary just to kind of show that you're so diverse and that you can use anything. I think it's important. That's just my own ego I have to feed, though.
I love it. I love it.
Kristin,
is that what you're saying, Kristin?
Okay, so let me just talk about where all of this is starting to come from. One of the places that this is coming from is I don't know. My ideal clients are finding me, and I don't know who they are. I hate the exercise of having to build your avatar so much. Like, it gives me so much. It's like when you were little and your mom's like, take your medicine. And I'm like, and it was the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to create my avatar. Right. And so the phone calls are coming in and I'm hearing what people are asking for. And I'm like, they're painting me or some of our team members and talent in a picture that like we're there, but like I haven't built the visual of there. So it's almost like the brand is evolving and we're evolving as talent. And I am feeling like in some scenarios, because for example, there is quite a few venues that are some of my absolute favorite in town to work for. And this setup will not work, period. End of story. It needs to be not even as modern. You know, I just do my 2 QSC like speakers on the left and the right. I do one of the nice black facades. I'll do some uplights because we just need to blend. These places are very rustic or Italian or like whatever. And so, you know, the whole modern thing is just not going to work. But I mean, the phone is ringing and I'm like, I think what I hear you saying is you want someone to bring the energy, bring presence, not only mix well, program well, but be visually appealing enough to put on a show. They don't know they're asking for that, but I feel like that's what they're asking for. And maybe one of the questions is, you know, coming out of this with all of this, you know, pent up, you know, wanting to be with people and celebrate, you know, are some of us going to miss the boat if we don't level up on that now so that we can get the referrals in 6 months to a year from now?
Mm-hmm.
So see, I'm talking myself into it, but then I talk myself right back out of it, you know?
It's different for you too, Kristin, because you have so many, you know, girls working for you, that I feel as though each DJ would basically have their own avatar of who they would work for. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yes. And so like our clients are very, very diverse. They're all over the place. Yeah. And let's just say I do move forward and this is the route I go. This would just be Kristin's setup for right now.
That's because what I was thinking. It wouldn't be the companies. It would be like that. Exactly.
Correct. Because there's a different client that I am attracting. So, yes. I don't know. And then I think to myself, well, okay, Kristin, if it's about the presentation, then why don't you just stick your pink SX3 in some sort of, you know, podium where they can see you? You know, will the turntables make a difference? I don't know if I'm saying them right because I'm not doing needles and I don't want to deal with the phase. So like, range.
No, 12. I think, I mean, they're controlled turntables. So
there you go.
What else are you going to call them, you know?
Correct.
Oh,
dude,
I get it now. That's why it's called a controller.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. Wait, what?
A controlled turntable? For real though?
Yeah. Well, that's what it is, right? It's just like a controller.
Constantly moving.
It is moving. It's moving. It operates just like a turntable, but it's all the inner workings of a controller. So just like your platter on your controller, it's a platter. It's just built like a turntable. It feels like a turntable. It's a turntable without all the things that go wrong with the turntables and the needles. So I get that. No needle stuff. That's really interesting, Kristin. That's an interesting question. You know, I don't know. I don't know that someone wouldn't hire you. I get the visualization thing and the more of a party rocker stance and like performance mode. I get that. But I don't know that, I mean, I don't know. Will someone not hire you because are they asking for turntables specifically or just more of a performance style set?
See, I think I'm just, I may be down a really far rabbit hole. Okay, first and foremost, Nate is like a Rain 12 is a controller. He's like, you'll be right back at home, ladies. Trust me, I was scared to get them too, but it was a cakewalk. What was I going to say? Okay, so this rabbit hole that I'm down, I'm just like, I don't think I'm losing business because of this.
I don't think so.
I'm not losing business, but what opportunities can I create because of this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like them? Like, what do you like? Do you like them? Do you like the bigger stuff?
Jess, why are you laughing at me?
I'm more so laughing at B because she's like, this is like we've entered therapy mode. You know what I mean? She's like, do you like this?
Okay, well, the thing is, and I'm gonna pardon all of my lingo. So if you guys want to define whatever I'm gonna say, because everything I'm about to say is not going to be industry correct terms.
Me too.
But I did for a few minutes. I played on a turntable. It had a needle, and I was like, oh my God, I think my life has changed. Mm-hmm. Because for me, like, even when, and I was like, let's just say I was like 5 years old when this happened, but like I did DJ on CDs, right? And so when things went digital, for me, my whole life changed because I could see the waveforms. And so I learned to DJ with my eyes before I learned to DJ with my ears. Mm-hmm. So I'm very much a visual and I'm a touchy person, right? So like if I'm looking at the waveforms and then I touch that and I was like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And so like, even when I used to watch people, you know, instead of like hitting the cue mark to go into a song, it's like you watch BB do this all the time. DJ Keyless does this, you know, and you'll kind of like scratch into a song. Like B, you do it all the time. And I'm like, damn, she looks so sexy doing that. You know what I mean? But I understand it. I don't want to scratch. That's not what I want to do because like I'm the girl who loves to dance. And sometimes when I hear that annoying noise in my favorite song, I just get annoyed. I don't want to do that. But I do think that there's an opportunity. And I even tried it when I got home just on my SX. I couldn't feel it, but I did it. And Jenny was like, what did you just do? I'm like, I don't know. I saw it. I learned it. And then I can do it on my controller right here. So I can do it. It's just, it's a different, it's a mood. It's a feeling. It's, I don't know. And again, maybe I'm going down a rabbit hole and I'm overthinking it.
Well, I think that I always equate turntables to driving a stick shift, right? Like if you've ever drove a fast car, that's stick shift where you have like a little more control over every piece of the process versus like an automatic where it's all handled for you. And I like stick. So I like the turntables. It is a different feel. You will catch on really fast. So if there's any like nervousness about your ability to do it, which I doubt there is, but if there is, you'll catch on super fast. It's all muscle memory. You'll get it like in a day. So
the only thing I would be nervous about, and this is why I just don't want to mess with needles, is the troubleshooting if something goes wrong, which is why I don't want to do a needle. Like if you put me in front of it and I have like a few minutes to play, like I can get it. So that doesn't make me nervous.
Yeah.
It's just
if I
all
could
the
have
things.
Rain 12s. Yeah.
You have Rain 12s?
No, if I could have Rain 12s, I would absolutely have Rain 12s. I have needles, and yes, that sucks. It has its own issues, and I did the phase thing, and they died on me, so that made me nervous. But I mean, I do like the relationship with working on turntables. It is a different feeling. I agree with that. I don't think as a consumer, I wouldn't hire you or refer you based on whether you were using turntables or a controller, but they are sexy. It is a feeling. It is a vibe. You do feel like you're like manning. It is a thing. I do prefer them. I don't do all my gigs with them because they're heavy and they take a lot of work to bring, but I support it.
Let me ask a question. So, and just be completely honest about this, and everybody in the comments, everybody that was watching, Nate, Ernie, Chris, Dawson, I want you guys, everybody else too, I want you to answer this. Within the DJ community and just the DJ community, nobody that's going to hire us, do you think there is a different level of respect that you get as a performer if you are able to DJ on turntables? Do you think that people or other DJs will look at you differently in a better way if you are able to use turntables?
All right, I'm going to type that in real quick. So that we can repeat it. Okay. So the question is
within the DJ community.
Okay.
Let's take out the do. So within the DJ community, is there a different level of respect that a DJ gets from their peers if they are able to perform on turntables? And I say, yes, 100%.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's yes. Like, and that's what gets me too, is it just depends. Yeah. Within the DJ community, is there a different, yeah, there it went.
But then Jess, if you walked into that room and you have your initial judgment, right? You see a controller or you see turntables. Turntables obviously garner more respect. They're maybe harder to use. And then if you see real vinyl, then you're really like, okay, you are an OG and I respect you so much. But then if that same person that you walked in maybe didn't have turntables, totally killed the set,
then it's fine.
Then do you think, oh, okay, but she didn't have turntables? So it's like two parts to that question.
Yeah, I feel like if you just like, you don't know anything about how they perform. If it's just like based on that, that's just, I don't know, man. I feel like that's always debated. And in my heart of hearts, I think this is such a personal answer though. That's why I wanted to know like what everybody thought. So Ernie says no.
Oh, wait a minute. Nate says on the client perspective, yes. Wait, what? Chime in with more. Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know, on the same subject of that is, you know, you guys know that I lead a team. So my question, and one of the other things that I think to myself is, as a leader, what can I do? And could this be one of the things that, you know, I bring into my toolbox to be able to teach or pass down so that they are, you know, I'm a constant source of information and education for them. And, you know, someone that they can continue to look up to, because, you know, I want to create this journey of like, we're in this together. We're in it for the long haul. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they outgrow me. You know what I mean? But you guys know, like, if you look at me as a DJ and a business professional, the number one thing on my expertise list is not going to be showing you guys how to mix. Everyone knows what my expertise is. So I'm not trying to say that I would replace all those other things, but, you know, it's just, I feel like it's one more thing to level up. And I feel like maybe one of the things that reinvigorated me over the pandemic and everything being closed was I had nothing else to do. There was nothing to do. There was no sales. There was no marketing. There was no speaking. There was no operations of running a giant team. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to mix. Like, and
which
it
is
was
awesome.
fun, and I fell in love with it again.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. You know, I think that, I think it's a tough question. It's a tough question because there's different ends of that question. Leveling up is never a bad thing. What, babe?
It's like a real DJ, how Nate says, I am only speaking on the last few months of having Rain 12s. I get more comments from clients and guests that I am a real DJ. So it is, I think, looped into that stereotype, if you will, which we all know stereotypes sometimes do exist for a reason, but that you're a real DJ. It's almost like if you drive a minivan, you're a mom that plays soccer with her kids. It's like one of those stereotypes. Like, no, I play Rick Ross in my minivan. I was doing it yesterday on the way home from Aldi. I don't even care. I'm getting a system in December for Christmas. But anyways, what I'm saying is there's these stereotypes that are driven into our brain, and I think that's one of them. But
and I mean, let's be real. There is something to be said about honoring how it all started and the original art of DJing. I mean, there's something to be said about that. And that's not bad. I don't think that's bad. I think it's important.
Do I have to honor how butter was originally made? Because I am not turning it. Like, butter is still good, though. There's just like so many ways this can go. I don't know. I get
totally.
It.
Exactly.
This is artist based. This isn't freaking butter based. I don't know why I said that.
Do you see what I mean? But do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's totally.
I talk myself into it and right back out 32 seconds later.
I love you.
I'm gonna go back. I go back to the original, Kristin. What do you want?
Yeah,
do that.
What's
if you want to rock your pink SX, rock your pink SX and level up your skills in other ways. You know, if you want to rock I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop.
No, keep going, and then I'll tell you what I want. It's in my head, exactly what I want.
That's all I want to know.
I want to buy the damn Reigns, and I want a Pioneer S11, and I want a new pair of shoes. I want them to be designer white sneakers. Yes. I found some last night that had a little bit of glitter on the back, so I can pay homage to how butter used to be made with the older DJ Rocks, and pay homage to my I want a sexy ass booth to be behind, so when people walk in, you literally cannot question if I am the DJ because I'm female. There's no question in your mind who I am because look at me, say something. And then by the end of the night, when your feet hurt and you've literally stared at me all night long, then what?
Yep. It's the impact. It's a
so
vibe.
There you go.
It's a vibe.
Just I look at the spreadsheet and I'm like, how do I justify the cost of this?
Oh, you'll do it. Then you'll do it.
You'll book 2 gigs.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah. You'll book 2 gigs. And when you want to roll out the big dogs for the certain clients, you roll them out.
For sure. For sure.
Problem solved.
So your market person, do you know, are there any other, I don't know how many companies are within your market, and obviously nothing compares to our DJ Rocks, but do you know if there's DJs out there in your immediate area that you serve that are using turntables?
So yes. He might still be on and watching. So DJ JW, he rocks CDJ 3000s.
Yeah, is that who won the award or that posted and was giving you credit? I thought I saw something like that. Yeah, congrats to him, man. That's awesome. Okay,
yes.
So
he does that, and I think everyone else just uses something similar to like either an SX2 or, you know, an SX3 or something like that, and everyone has facades.
Yeah, everyone. See, that's why the furniture is important. I feel like you're going to do it. I feel like it's going to happen. It's just like, I don't know. I just have a feeling for you within a year, you know, just to kind of set that vibe. Let's see. I think Chad Lewis said something really interesting.
Okay, let me hear.
I have more respect for the energy and tone setting that DJs bring, regardless of what they're using, regardless of the setting. DJs are the ringleaders and the directors of the show. If they're having a good time, the crowd usually feeds off that vibe.
I mean,
Chad.
100, like
Yeah.
a million % couldn't agree more.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so then I have a follow-up question to that, Chad. What if you have a killer DJ who brings the energy, sets the tone, the AV is on point, they are amazing at programming, so all the things are there, and then they're either behind a DJ booth or they're with, let's just say, you know, an SX or whatever, versus behind a podium where you can see the turntables. That's the question. Is there a difference? If everything else was the same, is there a difference? Does that take that DJ's respectability or demand or whatever it is to the next level? Because if the answer is no, then the answer is no, and I shouldn't spend the money on this. But if the answer is yes, because I'm going to tell you right now, I have all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just elevates the experience. I mean, it's like going to a salon, right? And getting your hair done or your nails done. And you go to the salon and you get them done. They look great. You go to the salon number 2 and they give you champagne and chocolate covered strawberries. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there. You know, it's just, is there a demand for it? There's a demand for me because I want to get away from my house and drink champagne and eat strawberries and get my nails done. And I will pay for that because it's what I want. So I feel like if that market's there, man, it's better than the other, right? Like you're adding on enhancements that increase your value. That's how I look at it.
Wait a minute. Chris, hi. Are you saying 1%? Because there's this whole saying, I think Matt Redicelli says it. What can you do every single day to get 1% better? So like, are you saying that this is the thing that's going to make it 1% better?
Yeah, Chris.
I mean, my
everyone's
thoughts,
speechless. Look, no comments. Yeah. Like we're all like, what do we do?
We have to make a decision for Kristin by the end of this QSC play out loud. It's in your hands.
So either comment or send me a DM and let me know your opinion on what I should buy.
Or maybe you just get them shipped to your door, somebody watching, you know.
I agree with Chris. I think will it make it a little, like, will it make it better? Sure. But will it make it a lot better where I'm going to book you or not book you? That I don't know. If a DJ rocks it, I'm not looking at their equipment going, oh, I loved her, but I'm not going to book her because she used a controller.
True.
That's just me. I could be wrong. Does visual stimulation matter? Sure, absolutely. How much? That's the question. That's why I went back to what do you want? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's really that serious. It's really about where do you want to go? And if you want to go that route, then go that route. If it made you excited, then do it. Yeah. That will translate. That will book you more gigs because you're going to love what you're doing. That I think is more.
Such a good point, Brandy.
No.
And also, can I make sure the credit goes to the right place? Nate Nelson said it was Randy Bartlett that said that was the 1%. What can you do every day to get 1% better? So Randy, thank you for that. Oh, Kevin, you just missed you missed everything, bro.
You missed everything.
Rewind. Does this thing everyone?
Everything. Well, you're gonna have to tell us, Kristin. I'm gonna be watching your IG stories now because I'm gonna want to find out what you finally decide about your reins and your shoes.
Okay. I mean, there definitely is some designer ones I really want to pull the trigger on, but we'll see. So I totally didn't know that this was going to take the whole session. But you know, is there any other stuff you guys want to chat about real quick? I know we had a couple more things that maybe we wanted to hit on before we start wrapping things up.
I thought that was great. I would be interested in that as a DJ. It's a great conversation.
So originally when we were talking about what we were going to discuss today, I was like knee deep in doing automation systems, right? But I don't want to talk about automation systems anymore. So you guys, I'm prepping for 5 gigs, you know, in front of me right now, right?
Okay.
And I've just done an overhaul of my hard drive. You know, I had like 30 folders on my hard drive, compressed them all into 3, and then, you know, ran them through Record Cloud, took out all the duplicates, just really cleaning up shop, deleted a bunch of playlists and crates and rebuilding them with crate hackers and just my own expertise. So now I'm prepping for these events, right? And I'm doing it the way I used to do it, which is I get into the client's head musically as possible. And then I create like a backbone playlist based off of what we talk about and what songs they ask for. So typically I'll stay within that playlist that I have. Like it'll be in like, you know, my what's coming up next. Now this is virtual DJ. I think it's the same in Serato, that where you have all of your songs in front of you. So I'll stay within that, and then I'll arrange by beats per minute and key, and I'll kind of move through it as I see what's happening. But I found myself kind of getting stuck where it would be better to not stay within this 600 song backbone playlist that I've created just off of what I think they're going to dance to, mixed in with their requests. Now I'm thinking I want to just have kick-ass crates that I dip into and program 5 at a time. How are you guys? I was like just doing it backwards and pinholing myself. How are you guys prepping for gigs, and how does that translate musically? I'm saying just musically with the folders beforehand. Like obviously for weddings, you have to have your specials laid out, right? And sometimes your dinner and cocktail can be prepped out too, because that doesn't really change with energy, man. That's just like what feels right now. But for your dancing portion, how are you prepping, and how does that translate to the day of?
I have a lot to say on this, so I'll let B go first.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll be quick. I'm kind of with you, Jess. I kind of have like an old school way of doing it, and it does pigeonhole me, because then to move past that is, so I have both. I have like vibe crates, like what I'm feeling, like I go by feeling, and then I have my specific crate I made for that particular event, and I kind of use that. And then if I feel like if I would kind of miss the mark there, then I go to my vibe crates instead and start freestyling from there. So it's not ideal. And I have 8 billion crates, and I just heard you say crate hackers, so I'm going to look that up. Yeah. My way is not the great way. I need to revisit.
Yeah.
I need to do what you're doing.
Oh,
I'm curious, like give an example of like what you mean by like a vibe crate.
Like I'll have like unwind. I'll have like moody. I'll have like high energy dance. I'll have like West Coast bounce. I'll have, you know what I mean? Like, how am I feeling? How do I want them to feel? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I've done it. Yeah. And I've done it so many different ways. Like I have 5 different kinds of ways I'm trying to organize my music, and it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so a couple things, because I really love that. What I do that too, but that's my entire Spotify. So if I just need inspiration based on mood, literally like my Spotify says vibes and then the name, vibes, the name, vibes, the name. When I over the summer redid all of my crates, I did them I think there's 2 different ways I did them, because this personally worked for me. I categorized them by genre. So like, you know, 90s dance, 90s hip hop, you know, whatever. And it's like the bangers. So I have all my genres and like subfolders and things like that. I also do them by decades, because that's really helpful. Because sometimes I'll be like, I mean, I know what year, if it's a wedding, my couple graduated. And so I'm like, oh, you don't know what's about to hit you because you don't remember 2008. I got it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll do it like that. Super smart. Then I want to shout out Nate, because I also do this. So he says he got a tip a few years ago was to drop all of his songs he ever played into one crate, and then add client requests to that over time. Pay attention to what the bangers are. So I do the same. I have a wedding crate, and it is only full of the bangers. And then one more thing, I literally do what you do, Jess. When they like, you know, I get the paperwork, and when there's a list of like all their must play songs, I'll put all those in there. But what I do is, like, let's just say their wedding's on a Saturday. So Saturday morning, I make sure I'm up 2 extra hours early, because I'll spend 2 hours just on music, and I'll try to get my head in the zone of like, okay, this is what I think they're going to want to dance to, whatever. But I only pull from their must plays, and I'll go on all the record pools and be like, okay, is there a sick remix to this? Is there a sick re-drum to that? Yeah. And so it obviously is helping me update my crates as I do it. But then it's like, you know, little bitty things in my toolbox that I can like pump out later if I need to. So,
You know what brought me to this is today I was prepping for a wedding I have in Philly on Sunday. I'm so pumped to travel for work, by the way. It's my husband and I. Kids are staying home. I'm getting a bomb hotel and I'm rocking that shit. But so I have the bride's Spotify, which I always get their, you know, whatever they subscribe to. And I'll just kind of look to see who they are normally, not just their wedding day. And I start to see legit every genre is up in there, man. I'm like, I can't prep from this. I was like, there's so much. I was like, Desiree, Blink 182, you know, like Lumineers. I'm like, things everywhere, dude. So then I'm like, I can't prep for this. They legit love everything. What am I going to do? Drop everything into here? They have like 3 must plays, man. That's it. So then I thought, Jessica, you know, just build up your crates, know which ones you're probably going to dip into with them, and then just watch them and get in it instead of just like staring and figuring out what's next. So that's what I'm going to do, dude, is I'm just going to focus on the crates that I think that I'm going to pull from for them and make sure that they're banging, and then refresh myself with her Spotify right before I hit the decks and just, you know, go out there and just take it in, because I get too lost mixing in beats per minute, staying in that backbone playlist that I made and just getting caught up, and like there's just too many choices, you know. Yeah. So I know that when I did start working my wedding season 2 years ago, I used the approach of programming 5 songs in at a time, and it was perfect. It wasn't like I was looking at everything. It was like 5 at a time, ride that energy, and then see where you're at next.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I can't wait to try this out, man. I would just get so frustrated staying within that list that I made. And I just felt like I wasn't present because I kept staring at it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to just really dipping into my organization and having that spearhead the slangness. Who we got here now? Cameron Jesse Reed. What up, dude? He's doing the same thing as Nate.
What up, guys? Yeah, the other thing I did was I threw everything I used to do out the window and I started all over. So that was like another thing for COVID.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to.
You know, I went out to St. Louis and played with the guys at the High Class DJs team, Chris and Dawson. And I was like, wait, why are you playing this song after that song? And then I was like, wait, why am I not doing that? So like, it was great because I never get to see other DJs. Like my girls, I literally schedule them with everybody, but I don't get to see how other people perform. You know what I mean? So it was just refreshing because I'm just like, oh, if I'm on the dance floor, hell yeah. Like you can go like this, you know, whereas before, let's say like, you know, 7 years ago, it was, if I was in classic rock, you were going to get 3 of them no matter what, period, end of story. There was never coming out of that. And so I've just, you know, let's just make this whole conversation for full circle. I've really tried my best to, you know, in the whole thing and the whole world of DJing and in a pandemic when literally that is the basis of everything we do and there's nothing else to do, how can I step outside my comfort zone, push myself further, do things I've never done before, you know, play songs that I've never played before, just for freaking funsies.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Oh man.
So am I buying the range just for funsies?
Sounds like a great idea. I think it's a great idea.
Oh my God, Nate, yes. And you know, it's so funny. There was a talk I was going to do and I was almost going to use that same thing. So yep, hold on, writing that down. Right? Let's talk about sets, baby. Let's talk about you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool. I mean, is there anything else you guys want to add, chat about? I mean, we're all in the DM, so we can always side conversation about any of this stuff. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Camera just gave me an idea about having a short edits crate. I don't have a short edits crate right now, and I just have them intermixed with the other songs. And 2 weekends ago, I dropped a Miley Cyrus part in the USA where it was a short edit with the Jay-Z loop. And like, I didn't know it was coming up, man, because I hadn't previewed it yet. And like, it was just like, and the Jay-Z song was on, and the Jay-Z song. And I'm like, oh shit, Jay-Z. I was like, guess she's